I'm going to start the recording. So again, welcome to the East-West Waterline Construction Meet the Contractor meeting. This is a project that is a large-scale project that's been in development for years that Salt Lake City Department of Public Utilities has put together. So I will get to the team introductions in just a moment. I'm Diane Olson. I am with the project information team, and we've been hired by the city to help work between the city and the contractor and you as residents to make sure that you're getting information that you need so you can know what to expect during construction. So with that, I'm going to just turn a brief moment over to Dave Adams, your board president, to welcome you, and then I'll get back introduce our project team.
Thanks, Diane. And thanks for everyone for joining. Hopefully this is helpful for you. It gives you a chance to ask whatever questions you might have. The board has done our best to keep all residents and owners appraised of this project and the progress it's made over the last 2 years. And so, yeah, hopefully you can get any info that you haven't received already from the meeting tonight. But as always, you can reach out to Diane. She'll give you some information at the end of the meeting about email list you can join, the Hotmail number that you can call 24/7 anytime you have questions. And then you can get in touch with the board too if you've got questions for us. Just a brief history. Diane asked me to just explain briefly how Wood Hollow got involved in this at all. My understanding is that the pipeline route is for the most part on city right-of-ways already, but they had a couple private property crossings that they needed to utilize. And I think it was November of 2019 is when Wood Hollow first heard from the city expressing their interest in buying an easement and running the pipeline through our property. And then we spent the next 2 years, I think, because I think we signed the agreement in, no, was it 2018? Because we signed the agreement in November of 2020. So it was November 2018 when the city first approached us. Sorry, dates mixed up. So November 2018 is when we first heard about it. All the owners heard about it that same month in the annual owners meeting. And we got a lot of feedback from those owners about any concerns they have, most of them related to parking and safety. And we then spent the next 2 years negotiating that contract with the city, with foremost on our minds the concerns that we heard from residents. So as you've probably seen, residents of Wood Hollow, there's now a temporary parking lot on top of the tennis court and courtyard area. That's to address the parking concerns, because for the most part during this construction phase, the south parking will be unavailable, or at least big chunks of it will be unavailable at different times. So this parking lot, temporary parking in the courtyard, will give everybody a chance to park near their units and not have to, park on the street or walk far to get back to their unit. Trying to think of what else would be important to say. We have been giving updates to owners and residents through our newsletters over the last 2 years. But again, if you've got any questions about that, feel free to reach out to me if you've got questions about the agreement or negotiation specifically. If you've got questions about construction scheduling, things like that, that's what this meeting's for, and the hotline that Diane will tell you about. But is there anything else you wanted me to say, Diane?
I think you covered it.
Okay.
Thanks, Dave. So with that, I'll just introduce our team really briefly. So Courtney Hamer is with Salt Lake City Public Utilities. She's our project manager. Don Wagner is with Salt Lake City Public Utilities as a program manager. Did I say project manager is Courtney? program manager is Dawn. So she's higher level, looking at all the water needs in the city. And then, also we had Ryan Bagshaw, who is an inspector with Salt Lake City Public Utilities. So you'll see him out on site as well. Then Salt Lake City hired VanCon as the contractor for this. So Nick Golding is the project manager. So you see Nick there. And then Justin Allen is also with VanCon. And then you have myself, Diane Olson, as the conduit to this big team to provide information to you, and also Allison Adams. So when you call the hotline, 95% of the time you'll get Allison. So that's our team. So I'm going to turn the time over to Courtney to give a brief overview of what this project is, and then we can get into like what it means for you all as residents. So Courtney.
Thanks. And you can go ahead to the next slide. Oh, thanks. So again, we're here just to provide some information to Wood Hollow residents on the upcoming construction of the east-west water line. This is an overview map of the full project. And hopefully you can kind of tell on the east side is where this project is going to start. We have an existing reservoir, terminal reservoir. It's right next to REI, just off 215. In purple is where you can see our proposed alignment going through Mill Creek, into Salt Lake, across Salt Lake, and then ending over at 3rd East and 17th South. That's kind of the first major phase that we're looking at. We've kind of, since within this big portion, we've broken things down to make it a little more manageable. Phase 1 is in orange and was constructed this past summer on 5th East, roughly between 21st South and 17th South. Phase 2 is what you'll see in blue, and it's what we're constructing now this summer of 2021. Phase 3 is a little bit bigger and again starts over at REI and will finish over at 3rd East and 17th South. We're under design for that part of the project now, and construction will be through 2026 at this point. So back to phase 2 in blue, where you guys are at, we're starting construction just east of Elizabeth Street on Warnock Ave. We're going through Wood Hollow, along the edge of the Forestdale Golf Course, and then up 9th East for just a little bit and turning onto Ashton Ave. That construction for this phase has already started and will be going through, I guess, a year from now on the golf course. I guess just a quick background, the reason we're doing this water line is the 6-mile water line is in order to supplement the existing water supply, maintain reliable service to our residents and customers, and meet the growing population needs for the Salt Lake Valley. So our phase 2 construction schedule, we expect the Wood Hollow condominiums complex area to be done by August 2021, so this summer. 9th East, the 9th East portion will be completed by July of 2021. And then the Forestdale Golf Course section will start in November of 2021 and end in May of 2022. So go ahead to the next. So I'm going to hand it over to Nick to provide more on the construction schedule and construction impacts. And again, Nick is with our contractor, VanCon Construction.
So yes, it looks like we're trying to start as early as May, but it kind of depends on our supplier. The pipe that we're putting on the ground has a very long lead time, and it's only made in specific spots of the United States. So we're hoping to start in May, but it could be later this summer. There's a 30-day window, so once we do start, we'll be in and out in 30 days, and then we will continue up the street to Warnock. So we'll window inside of your property. Once we hit the ground, we'll get out, and then it's all paved and back to normal after 30 days. Our working hours are 7 to 5. Obviously, it's construction, things come up, but we will try to keep it to 7 to 5. We want to only be there from 7 to 5, just as much as you guys want us to only to be there then. So that's what we're planning on. Yeah, we're just pretty much installing the pipe. There's nothing major in front of the Wood Hollow apartment except for the pipe. So we're just install the pipe, get it backfilled, and then put the pavement back down once we're out of there in that 30-day window.
Hey, Nick, it's worth, so just a little context. This is a 48-inch diameter water line. So it's intended to convey a large amount of water from, on the east bench all the way to this. It's not a regular residential water line. But so in terms of, to help you guys understand in terms of like what the construction will entail, it does entail trenching fairly deep to be able to install that large water line. And that's why the pipe is special, as Nick mentioned. So just a little background on that. Oh, and now maybe Nick's connection.
Yes, ma'am. And speaking about that, I mean, safety is our number one concern while getting it done in a, hello?
Oh, you're good.
Can you hear me now?
Yep, keep going.
Can you guys hear me?
Yes.
All right. Anyways, I just wanted to stress that safety is our number one concern when we're in this area. Most important excavation, it is going to be a big trench. We will have safety fence, around our perimeter of the construction site. But I just ask you, as well as, I always ask our crews just to be aware of it. I mean, it's not an everyday where you just walk out your porch and keep walking. So it's just be aware of us. We'll be aware of you, help us be safe, and we'll help you be safe, get us in and out as quickly as possible, and go home. We all want to go home to our families. So I just want to stress that safety is our number one thing. So please give us the room, and we will keep it as tight and as closed construction area as possible. And yeah, let's be safe and get this thing done quick.
Thanks, Nick. So as far as just what to expect for Wood Hollow residents, because we don't have a exact schedule right now, the commitment from our team is that as the schedule firms up, we will give a notice on everyone's door 2 weeks prior to construction. And that'll let you know, when you can expect to see construction, teams mobilizing, and that notice on when you would likely start seeing those temporary restrictions on parking in that southern lot. As Dave mentioned, to accommodate and to minimize the impact to Wood Hollow residents, that temporary parking has been installed. It's there now, you can see it. And that'll just be there so it's ready. So once crews are ready to go, it's available. You shouldn't have any interruption that way. Construction will be starting, and Nick, correct me if I'm wrong on these details, but starting on the west side of Wood Hollow and then moving east. So you can expect about 3 phases of construction as it progresses east, and then parking will be made available, in different formations as the crews work east. Did I get that right?
Yes, ma'am. We'll be starting. Yes, ma'am. We'll be starting west over by the golf course and working our way to the east towards the entrance where we were doing the whole couple months ago or so. And there will be 4 different phases, but there'll be some open trench. Parking stalls will be open. Once that trench gets backfilled and covered, then we'll kind of move the parking lots further to the west as we go east.
Okay, great. Thanks. Ryan, did you I had to mute you for a second because of feedback. Did you have something to add to that?
Yeah, I just want to make sure that everybody knows that because of the type of pipe that we're putting in, and how large the pipe is and how long the sections of pipe are, we're going to have large amounts of trench open at once. So we may have a couple 100 feet of pipe exposed for long periods of time and shoring in that place. So it's going to be autonomous. And so it just understand that the machines they bring in are big, and the safety is our number one concern. Just stay away from the trenches, and just know that if you see a trench open and a piece of pipe in that trench, it's there for a reason. It has to be welded. It has to be, that joint has to be sealed. And then there has to be flowable fill brought in and cured before we can start the backfill process. So the process takes a little while once we actually start the work. But remember, the machines are big, and don't walk behind us. If we don't see you, if you can't see us, we can't see you. Just try to stay clear as much as you possibly can. If you need something, there's an emergency or anything like that, stand off to the side and wave your hand. Someone will come over and help you and get your concern taken care of. The other thing is, your water shouldn't be affected with any of this. Your sewer shouldn't be affected with any of this. So none of your utilities will be affected while we're doing our work. So that's another nice thing to have.
Yeah, thank you for clarifying that, Ryan. And Malia has a good question. How big are the sections of pipe that will be installed each time? 10 feet, 20 feet? What are those lengths? Nick?
40, the majority of them are 40 footers. So it'll be 40 foot long, 48-inch diameter. There's a couple intermediate pieces as far as bends. You know, the longest ones will be 40s, and it goes anywhere from 5 feet to 40, but the majority are 40-foot length.
Okay. So basically, they bring the pipe in once the trench is opened and ready for that to be installed, right, Nick? For the most part.
Yes, ma'am. Yeah. Because it takes a minute to dig out that much dirt, so we're not going to have the pipe just sitting there ready to go. We'll have it trenched out, bring in the pipe, set the pipe, and then begin the welding, flow fill, backfill process, as Ryan said. But with that 40-foot sticks, you can't do one at a time. You got to do a couple at a time. So like Ryan said, there will be, 100+ feet of open trench at a time. And like I said, we'll get it backfilled. That's the phasing. So once we get that couple 100 feet of backfilled, we'll move the parking down, have it opened up for you.
Okay, that makes sense, Malia. Okay. Well, so that's it's construction, so I know other items might come up, but that's the general overview of what to expect during construction. I'm going to look to my team to fill in any gaps on information that they think might be relevant, and we can open it up to you all as residents on what questions you may have. Okay, so we covered it on our bases. So questions from you, and you can feel free. It's a small enough group that if you just want to unmute and ask your question, we can take it that way.
Hi, this is Emily Lavin. Thanks so much. This was very helpful. So thank you for everybody who put this together. I had a quick question, just because I know, obviously, given the pandemic, a lot of people are still working from home at this time, and probably will do so through the majority of the summer, it seems like. Is there any, I know it's hard to gauge, but I guess I'd just be curious to know, like, noise levels, or if there's certain processes that are noisier than others, or I guess my question, sorry, to be more succinct, is would you recommend that we make alternative arrangements if we are currently working from home, given the noise levels of the construction occurring through the day from 7 to 5, which are also obviously working hours?
Well, these are good questions, Emily. I would say generally we do try to prepare people for the fact that it is active construction. So like Ryan both mentioned, it is large equipment. It is noisy. it is dusty at times.
Sure.
And you will even experience vibrations at times, which I know, having lived in Utah, sometimes we think it might be something else, and it's often just equipment, either trucks rolling through or the shoring put in place to keep the trenches safe and open to install the pipe. I don't want to make a recommendation, but I do want to acknowledge this construction, and they are in a tight area.
Yeah.
Don't know how thick your walls are per se, but we do hear from folks that that they do hear construction, especially depending on what units you are and how close you are to it. I think it might be a little bit more relevant to to the south units versus the north units.
Sure. No, that makes sense. Thank you.
But as far as, utilities, again, we've already reconciled any conflict with existing cable lines or anything like that. But does the team have any other, thoughts on Emily's question? I think too, once we get started, you may make the judgment call of like, oh, like I can, sometimes when we first start, it's a little bit more noticeable, and then you can kind of settle into like, once you know what to expect. And it's almost like the freeway noise, right? It just starts to fade into the background, but you may need to be the judge of that once we get going.
Sure. No, that makes sense. Thank you.
Sure.
I think the beeping of the machines backing up will probably be the loudest thing to hear, just because we're in a little bit of a narrow section and there's the metal roofs for parking on one side. So we're in a little bit of a boulevard. But you'll actually get less noise the further away we get. And then you'll get a little bit of vibration just from the compactors after that. Nick, are you going to use a sheep's foot, or are you going to use like a walk behind? Can you tell us what type of a compaction unit you're going to use?
With the trench that big, we'll probably throw a roller in the middle of it. Like a, like a 4 or 5 foot roller with the trench being that big.
Okay, so they'll have some vibration, and then there'll be some vibration near where that roller is, and it'll get less further away that we get. So if you live on the southwest side of Wood Hollow, you're going to feel it and hear it at the very beginning. And then as we get up the street, it's going to obviously get further and further away and less affect you less.
And like Ryan said, it is the backup alarms those are the ones that get, those are the ones that are pretty constant. Everything else you can't really schedule. It's, it's construction. You can't really schedule the exact loud noise, but it's the backup alarms that you'll be hearing all day.
Got it. Thank you.
I know another thing to anticipate is that once they've installed the water line and they've backfilled, they will need to put asphalt all over. The board can speak more to, I don't know if a decision's been made, but there will also be the time where we have to go in and pave it at the minimum, the trench. And that there, if there's additional paving needs, that the HOA has to take care of. Dave, I don't want to speak out of turn, but the hope was to kind of keep impact of paving at one time, but that's still up in the air and something we can provide folks some more detail on as we get closer.
Yeah, that's correct. We're still working on the details, and we can take that offline, because I think we're still trying to coordinate a quote or something. But for residents, just know that we've got additional pavement that we want to replace, and we thought we'll try to do that if possible at the same time as the pipeline trench is being repaved on top of, so that we're not doing 2 different pavement projects, just doing both at the same time.
Okay, thanks, Dave. Other questions go
Can
ahead.
Can I just bring up something about the asphalt? When we do the asphalt, we want to do that all at once, so we get no seams in the asphalt. So the parking will be more hindered at that point in time. Maybe we'll have everybody out for a day or two, just so we could get all that down at one point in time. to make you guys have, so there's a better product.
Right. Thanks.
Sounds
Ryan.
good.
Okay, so the floor is yours still. Any other questions from residents? I can also, I'll make sure to put you've received our flyers, I hope. And put, oh, we just had someone join us. You can join our project list. We send out emails on a monthly basis, or even when there's lulls of construction, more as status as updates occur. And we have information on a website as well. So all of these items are available to you all throughout construction. And as construction moves off of the Wood Hollow property, we've got to continue the work to the east, up to Warnock. So Elizabeth Street will be impacted for a longer time period than just the 30 days that we plan on being in Wood Hollow. So that could likely affect your south entrance. Things will be signed, detour routes, so that you can still have access through your north entrance throughout, but the trench does have to continue on up Warnock. So even though we'll be only on Wood Hollow for that 30 days, you will still see orange cones up. You'll see equipment around. All the wonderful sounds of summer in Utah will be occurring while we're there. So that's an item to bring up. Any questions from this group? Have we covered it? We've given. All right. Oh, go ahead. I hear okay, well, I don't want to keep you longer than we need to. I've put our contact information in the chat. We will distribute notices 2 weeks ahead of construction. I also am in regular communication with your board. And so I've committed to provide even weekly updates on kind of what's occurring, so that, if you're more comfortable going to your board or you have questions about that, you can address them, but also definitely feel free to reach out to the email or the project hotline. That's what we're here for, is to just help answer your questions in a efficient manner or address any concerns that you have. So with that, I'll make the link for this meeting available. And Dave, if you have, a way to distribute that to other residents, we can help facilitate that. So anyone who might not have been able to join tonight can still get that information. We are having a larger Meet the Contractor meeting next week. So probably the link that all of my team joined, it's really for next week. So that's intended for your neighbors to the north and the south, and residents along 9th East, or all of that. So if for some reason one of your neighbors in Wood Hollow was unable to join tonight, they're welcome to join that larger meeting next week as well. We just wanted, because we are taking up so much of Wood Hollow's property, we wanted to make sure we provided you guys a good overview on what to expect when we come through. So with that, I appreciate everyone's time. Thank you for your questions, and we will stay in touch, and we'll look forward to getting through this summer construction season.
Thank you.
All right.
Thank you.
Thanks,
Thank you.
everyone.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Yep, thank you.